Hey guys, welcome to Hearts of Iron. Now, this is a brand new playthrough and I'm going to tell you why. It's because since the DLC, No Compromise, No Surrender came out, they have changed the game significantly, even the base game. Okay, for example, Japan used to be fascist at the start. It is now non-aligned. So, I did not feel comfortable continuing the campaign we had from earlier episodes. Now, the reason why we're doing this is because of the fact that I'm getting tired of War Thunder. I know you guys enjoy it. I know that you guys are enjoying that very much, but I'm getting tired of it. So I need to do something else. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video, but we're gonna adopt a different strategy than we did before, and that is division composition. Okay, I'm going to use motorized infantry and mechanized infantry like we never have before. I'm also going to use tanks and heavy tanks, medium tanks like we never have before. This is going to require us to sit and produce things for years. We might not even do anything until 1939, because historically that is when Hitler went to war in the first place. Yes, that is true. However, I want to be able to cover both fronts at one time. So when I invade Poland, I want to be able to cover France. I want to be able to cover England so that we actually can beat them. So for this episode and a few more episodes into it, we're not going to be doing much. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. It's all going to be production and industrialization. Alright? Just telling you that right now, that's what we're getting into. So, I got 5 factories on anti-tank, well, artillery, which I need to trade for some tungsten because, well, we're short 1 tungsten, which really isn't bad, but I want to make sure our efficiency goes up as much as possible. We're also short on rubber, so I'm gonna be trading factories from there as well to get what we need. Now, I'm also gonna stick 5 factories on trucks. This gives us a -8 surplus of rubber, so we need rubber. So what we're going to do is we're going to trade for that rubber that we need. The people that have rubber the most is the Dutch East Indies, okay? I am going to trade not 20 factories, you retard. Yes, let's trade 20 factories. No, let's just trade 2 factories for 20 for rubber. And then I'm also gonna trade 1 factory for the tungsten that we need. The people with the most tungsten is British Burma, so we're gonna trade 1 of those, and that will fix our issues that we currently have. Once I unpause the game, we're gonna have the facilities research the flame tank that comes with the No Step Back DLC, so that you guys are aware. I'm gonna put more factories on tanks because we're going to need them. We got our factories all lined up and now we're good to go. Alright, so we're gonna start by recruiting as many of these as possible. Right now we're probably doing about 3 divisions per thing right now, which I probably could afford it, but I'm gonna bring it down to 2 just to make sure that we have the necessary equipment to all this. I'm gonna make sure that we have people being stationed automatically in 2 divisions should not be a problem. We also have to set up the build queue. I almost forgot to do that, to be perfectly honest. We got 5 factories. Yes, 5 factories right now, and I think after that what we're gonna do, I'm gonna get 10 factories. I think that's a good number. I think that's 10, and then I'm gonna put the rubber manufacturers in so we don't have to trade for rubber anymore. We did have a deficit of 3, so by that point we'll be fixed, but I'm gonna put actually probably 10 rubber refineries in there. That should be enough, honestly. And then at this that point, I'm gonna now let's put some naval ports in, because we're gonna need the ports, because we're gonna start up 2 lines of U-boats set up. So we're gonna set up the ports, and then after that, we're gonna set up the military factories, which honestly, we're gonna need the military factories more than anything. So that's kind of why I'm spamming these, because we're gonna need them. Alright, and that's quite the build queue, guys. But we got everything that we need building, and not including what we get from national focuses. So all we can do at this point is just let the game roll. I'm probably gonna make this video a little bit longer than I typically do. I'll probably end about 42 or something like that, and then which will be 2 hours. And the reason why I'm doing this is so that we can actually get something done in the episode and not just look at a blank screen the whole time. Because again, we're rebuilding the entire German army, almost the entire German navy from scratch. Okay, so there's gonna be a lot that needs done in a short span of time. So I want to put as much of that in this video, so we're not sitting here bored doing nothing for the longest time, a few episodes, etc, etc. So the first couple episodes that we do are probably going to be a little bit longer than usual. I am going to probably make them as short as possible for you guys, but I'm going to be playing for several hours, 43 a.m. over where I'm at. Now I know some of you are from foreign countries and it does not play like that, but I'm going to be playing until about p.m. to be perfectly honest, and then that'll be 2 hours of game time, and it's going to be cut down into a couple minutes for you guys. So you're only going to be watching a fraction of this video, but I'll be playing 2 hours of game time. We also have the advent of coal being a resource now, so we have to be very careful on how many factories we actually build. I guess it's Paradox's way of limiting the player or something. Not exactly sure, but it is cool, but at the same time, it's not really cool, to be perfectly honest. From a logistical standpoint, it is not cool. But from a game feature standpoint, it really is kind of cool. But it's definitely going to make the game more difficult. No question about it. So we will see how this series actually ends up. Again, we played Germany before and failed bad. But I've done some research in between the times of series and things like that, and I really feel like this series is going to be really different. We're going to more than likely, if I do this correctly, beat the Allies quite easily. So I think the outcome is going to be slightly different here, but we don't exactly know, because it's Hearts of Iron. It's a very difficult game. By the way, we're playing on regular difficulty, so we are going to get the achievements, and that's kind of why I kind of wanted to actually put this on YouTube, because I want you guys to share in those achievements, because I really think that this series is going to be like no other. We're going to make Germany a very, very powerful empire by the end of the game. But in order to do this, we're more than likely not going to be able to go to war until the historical date, unfortunately. So it's going to be a lot of national focuses, and to get the war going against Poland, I'm probably going to go through the national focus tree, which is something I've never done before. But to do what I want to do with the German army, I have to take my time. We have to build up our forces so that they're large enough to do what I want to do. So again, this is going to be a very, very slow grind, a very, very slow series, but there is an actual reason why I'm doing it like that, okay? I'm not doing it like this because I want to sit here and be boring. I want to be honest with you. I'm doing it like this because I want to succeed this time. And I've done some massive research behind the doors here. So, what what you're gonna see me do in this series is you're going to see me play a lot different. You're going to see me do things a lot different. You're gonna see me do things that you've never seen me do on screen. And it's all because of the research I am started to research, etc, etc. So again, I really hope that you guys don't mind the grind, because this series is going to be a grind, and I can't restate that because it is going to be a grind. I can't say that enough. So if a boring game for the first couple years is not you don't want to watch this video. You really don't. But if you want to see success, more than likely you do want to watch this video. So right now it's give and take. I don't want to sit here and be bored and do nothing for all those years, but at the same time I also realize that we have to do it like that to succeed. So that is the changes that we're going to make. A lot of the territory that we get is going to be from national focuses at the beginning. Okay, the first two divisions, motorized infantry, are completed, just about. They still got to go through their training and stuff, but they are ready to go in terms of their equipment and all that kind of stuff. Take you back to the production page here. You'll see that I have 5 factories on artillery, and we have 506 pieces of artillery. Okay, the reason why I did that and why I'm actually trading out of the deficit is because to design the infantry divisions the way I want to do that, I need thousands of pieces of artillery, okay? And I would not be able to show you guys 100% of what I have planned until I get some XP from the passive generals, etc, etc, so that we can build the divisions that I want to build, and so that they're optimized for what we're going to use them for. That is also why in previous series you saw me use typical infantry soldiers. That's one of the major changes that I've made here, and now you see me using motorized instead of typical infantry soldiers. Now, why am I doing this? Because their breakthrough is much higher, okay? And if you do it right, you can make the motorized and mechanized infantry in 1940 a lot more powerful, a lot stronger than a typical infantry division. Don't get me wrong, you can make both very strong, but the one thing that a mechanized or motorized infantry division has over that is speed, okay? So essentially what I'm adopting is the blitzkrieg philosophy. What you're gonna see me do is I'm going to use the typical infantry as my military police and use my mobile infantry and my tanks as my attacking force, okay? The regular infantry will be garrison forces, which we will have a lot of, so to speak, because of the fact that they will be fulfilling a garrison role. Now, the reason why that we're doing this is I'm going to make the regular infantry very powerful as well. However, I'm going to make them a defensive object. Okay, so I'm gonna garrison them throughout the Reich. Then when we finally go to war with Britain and France, I have men there stationed throughout the Reich to defend the territories. Okay, and so that is what I have planned. That's the game plan going on here. That's what we're gonna do more moving forward. That's why I'm hammering out the light tanks right now, so that we can move forward and possibly actually succeed in what we need to do. Now we're gonna start getting passive infantry experience. Alright, so the MIFO bills are now expired. Excuse me there. Sorry about that, guys. Unknown number phone call. Anyways, the MIFO bills have now expired, which is a good thing because now we can work on the economy. However, now I have to get 150 political power because of the fact that I need to switch. Let me show you what this I'm talking about here. We're back on civilian economy. Okay, this is decreasing my construction efficiency substantially. Okay, so I need to go back to basically partial mobilization. Okay, that's what we need the 150 political power for at this point. I do not, at this point in time, I really do not like using the 4-year plan. Only because it really ruins your economy. And if you don't get certain territories within a certain set of time, it will ruin your economy. Okay? I really don't like that. So it's either you go to war or you get certain regions before a certain time, and it makes the bill cheaper for a time, but it doesn't last forever. So even though it kind of keeps you out of the watchful eye of the allies to a certain point, to me it's like, okay, well, this is not worth it. Alright, so I never go down the historical tree in the sense of the economic policies. Now we're gonna get currency reforms. There we go. Alright, we got our first armor technology here, and so now I'm gonna get a computer technology here. I could continue down. You know what? Let's go ahead and continue down this tree just so that when I go and build a tank, we're perfectly fine. We're ready to go. I think what I'm going to do, no, that's too much. Yeah, let's get the computing technology here so that we don't have so much wait time to research stuff. And we're gonna get our first 2 infantry divisions right quick here. So that is good. Can't wait for that. That's fantastic. How are we doing on production here? As you can see, we're producing trucks very, very quick. It's actually amazing how much we have. And as you can see, we also have 697 pieces of artillery. Okay, that is fantastic. And it's gonna go up the second we get some production technologies in. Alright, let's get these division into an army. That's great. So we started to rebuild the German army at this point. Nothing impressive right now, but trust me when I tell you guys, it will be impressive. I believe I need 60 XP to do what I want to do with it. We don't have a deficit of anything, but we don't have a positive number anymore for some reason, and I think it's because we switched the mobilization law. But that's okay because we'll be switching it back here this next time. So currency reforms, nice. Let's get the next policy in regards to this. Try and get as many civilian factories as possible for free here. Okay, 86 political power. We need 150 so we can switch back to partial mobilization, which that will help significantly, definitely. Okay, so we got machine tools now, so I'm gonna get the next technologies in line here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get concentrating industry, and then I'm also gonna get military police because we're gonna need them for the garrison units. We got a new national focus, so that's fantastic. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some infrastructure here put in. We're almost up to 150 political power, so that is awesome, fantastic. And then we can get out of this civilian economy again. We also have enough military XP to do what I want to do with the divisions, and by this point we should have enough to do the, what do you call it, also some changes to the template of the divisions, and that is about right because I've been waiting for that. 123 political power. I'm not going to start bringing out the garrison troop until we actually get the military police. Now I understand that you can use them without that support company, but they just have a lot better repression that way. Spanish Civil War had begun. Panzer flame tank. We have 1,000 pieces of artillery. We also have about 226 trucks, and we're making about 1 light tank per day. We have over 900 of those right now, and we have 150 political power. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to partial mobilization, and bam, ready to go. And what that should have done, no, it didn't help us with the resources at all, but what it did do is it made our construction a lot faster than before. As you can see, we have all 15 on the top one and about 5 on the other one. Okay, so now we're back to relatively where we need to be. Now in regards to these divisions, we need to edit these divisions so that, let's go to the division planner here. As you can see, I have about 9 infantry brigades in each division. Okay, now we're also going to add motorized artillery. We're going to put about 4 of these in here. And I want you guys to look at the stats by the time I'm done here. Okay, the stats on these divisions, some of it has negative organization, etc., etc. Okay, but what we can do is research supply companies and fix all that. So that is what we're going to do eventually. But you can see our breakthrough is 37. Our defense is 288. Our soft attack is 184.1. Our hard attack is 19.3. So these are fantastic stats right now. We just gotta get the proper support companies in there now. That's why I was producing so much artillery. As you can see, we put out the majority of the needed artillery. We're only short a couple hundred artillery. That is it. And by the time we get our production where it needs to be, well, it's not going to be much. But also at the same time, now we're short 76 trucks. But eventually, even that's going to peter out, because our production is going to surpass whatever these divisions require. Let's get the game going here once again. Yeah, we're doing 5 trucks per day, which is completely and utterly fantastic. We're already out of the artillery deficit. I even questioned whether we have one or not. It was just showing me a negative number because it was taking the artillery out to give to divisions. I would be willing to bet we never had a deficit to begin with, and if we did, they fixed it real quick. But with how little artillery that we have right now, I'd be willing to bet they probably didn't have a deficit at all. It was just showing me a negative number because they haven't given the artillery out at the time. There we go. This is gonna be great. The Grand German Army, for sure. We're still short 200 some trucks. I'm gonna question whether we should be recruiting right now. I mean, I know the production will catch up, but the last thing I want is to go thousands of trucks in debt, okay? I don't really want to do that. And every time a division comes off, it's gonna push us further and further in debt, okay? So I'm debating whether to stop recruiting trucks right now. Yeah, I'm thinking that's what we're gonna do. And for the time being, I'm gonna work on the garrison. Now, I'm gonna stick the military police in here. I don't think we have them yet. No, I don't think we have them researched. But I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start to recruit the garrison units, which for right now, I'm going to switch the type of unit these people are. Okay, we're gonna make a brand new unit, brand new template. They're gonna have 9 infantry battalions in this division. Alright, so we need 3 across. There we go. Battalions. Alright, we got the required stuff we need. We need 1 more XP to create this division here. So I'm gonna come up with the name right now and stuff like that. Where is garrison unit? Okay, here we go. Alright, so let's play the game a little bit so we can get that 50 XP that we need here. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna call this MP for military police, and that's what we're gonna save it as. As a result, because we're gonna be using strictly motorized infantry for attacking purposes, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of the okay, so probably once I put the military police inside the MPs, I could probably get rid of the infantry division. But right now, because it's being used as, you know, the same template basically, they won't let me get rid of it. Actually, I think it has to do with this. Hang on, there we go, let's use that. And then I want to see if that allows me to get rid of this. Yes. Okay. So now we have our Panzer division, we have our motorized infantry, we have our mountain troops, and we also have our cavalry and the MPs. So that's part of how I've wanted things set up. We got more to come, but that's part of it. Oh yeah, and I was gonna start to recruit the garrison troops. I forgot completely about it. Let's go ahead and stop that and get that rolling off. Okay, 11 divisions. That should give us half of an army. Primarily, we just need one more short of half an army, so we should be able to make an entire army of garrison troops rather easy. And like I said, these boys are going to be used for defense, so I'm going to make their a template based on defense. And as you can see, we now have 1,000 light tanks and over 1,000 pieces of artillery and just about 1,000 trucks. That's why I decided to maybe wait a little bit before recruiting some of that. But as soon as we get a couple thousand of trucks or even a little bit more being produced each day, then I'm gonna switch and start recruiting trucks again. Actually, what might not actually be too bad is if I were to actually start recruiting Panzers now, because that would I think be beneficial if I were to start doing that now. Okay, I'm actually not worried about the garrisons, to be honest. I kind of want to get some tanks rolling out of here, so let's go ahead and do that because we have plenty of tanks and trucks at this point. Alright, so we're gonna do that many Panzer divisions at one time. By the time these guys come off, we should have plenty of resources and surplus to do the next one here. I'm gonna go with this national focus so we can get more out of our trade deals. Yeah, I think the Panzer divisions will be a nice addition to the current German army right now. October 36th, we've almost been doing this for a year at this point, please. Okay, we got the military police, which is good. Now I just need to implement them into the military police, as it were. Now I'm gonna get supply companies and the maintenance companies. Edit. Alright, now the supports companies get added to the military police. Awesome. Suppression is now team.0, which is exactly what we need to be. Water bombs in here, bro. Nice, we got 10 factories on the second factory, so that's very, very good. What's our resources look like right now? I know it should all be in the positive, but I want to see by how much. Okay, so we're 1 rubber in the positive right now, which is fine because we're essentially gonna dig ourselves out of that rubber deficit by the time the rubber refineries are actually built. So I'm not really all that concerned about that, to be perfectly honest. I'm probably gonna put a factory on probably tanks, to be perfectly honest, because I think we're doing fine for trucks as of right now anyway. So I'll probably put a factory on tanks because we really don't have a lot left after recruiting these 4 Panzer divisions. So I think that that factory that is coming through National Focus is going to go on to Panzer tanks right now, because Panzer tanks, both light, heavy, and medium tanks, are going to be crucial to what we're going to do. That and motorized and mechanized infantry. But I think it's crucial that we actually get some Panzer divisions in the field build right now. I know we only made 2 motorized divisions, but that is perfectly okay. I think it's going to be more important to have more Panzer divisions out there more than anything. So that's why I decided, instead of recruiting more trucks, I decided to go with the Panzer division. That also means that we're going to have to catch up a little more with the medium and heavy tanks once we implement them. However, we'll at least have some tanks in the field. And I apologize to you guys because I've been playing on the pods for a long time there, but we were talking about a lot of stuff, so it doesn't really matter. But I do want to say, Paul, I apologize for not realizing the game was paused. And we got almost 1,000 trucks once again, and about 100 light tanks. This is great. That'll help with that. And we got 13 factories on the second factory that we're building at one time. So we're actually definitely getting better in terms of construction, which I'm very happy about. I would like to get to the point where we're building about 3 per time that we're building something. But right now, I'm very, very focused on getting this rubber deficit taken care of, because we need rubber, guys. We're not short, but we need to be able to produce rubber on ourselves, because there's planes that need produced, there's trucks that need produced, and we're not even doing crap for airplanes right now. So yes, there needs to be an increase of truck production. Well, plane production, my apologies. But there definitely needs to be an increase of truck production as well, so that I can get some motorized infantry out here as well. Okay, that production technology should help us quite a bit. Are we into 37 right now? Yes, we are. So I want to keep that momentum going. So I'm going to get the improved machine tools, and actually I should research some tank parts too next time. We're doing 7 trucks per day. That's fantastic. And like I said, this is gonna go on to tanks, get ourselves probably at least to 2 light tanks per day, which is fantastic. I'm gonna get the island at this point, just so that we can continue down the path here. Plane production isn't terrible, but it's not great. So I really want to focus on that, and that's part of the reason I want to get out of this rubber deficit. But at the same time, I also realized that I also need to work on construction, because if we have crappy construction, well, we're not going to be able to do anything. And once I bring these factories back, because of we'll be out of the rubber deficit at that point, our construction factories will be doing slightly better, because we're only trading 2, not a whole bunch anyways, but it will be slightly better at that point. We have 1,500 trucks, about 1,400 something, but that's about right where we want it, dude. And I actually want to go with mass assault. That would actually be good. I think that's what we're gonna go with. We could get more soft attack, but the way we're going to build these divisions, a little less soft attack, it's not gonna matter much. The only thing is, I know that we're not going to actually use mobile warfare as the Doctrine thing. That's why I got the Rhineland, because now we can do this one, which is gonna give us some more construction factories and some construction slots in that area of Germany. Okay, we're almost done with our construction factories, and we'll start to work on these synthetic refineries, which is fantastic in all honesty. Okay, so now now that we have the maintenance companies, I'm gonna get the supply companies, and then also the construction tech. We can even go for the production. Yeah, you know what? Let's go for the production, and then after that, we'll go for the construction construction speed. Okay, so those tanks are about to come off. I'm probably gonna put them in a separate army, to be honest, and just separate the armies based on what they are, and have a field marshal based on what they are, so that I can control where certain types of soldiers go. For example, my Panzer divisions will more than likely go to the National line, and then my infantry divisions will probably go against Poland and the line besides the National line on France. And so we're gonna push into France by two directions. That's the plan anyway. There goes my Panzer divisions. So we're gonna highlight that, get a new commander, and I'm gonna put my best commanders on this one. One of my best commanders on that one. And actually, let's go ahead and cancel the recruitment of Panzers for right now, because we kind of are behind. But at this point, we should be able to recruit a decent amount of truck infantry. So I'm gonna actually do that. We're a little bit short, but we're producing trucks so fast at this point that they're gonna come right out of it. Yeah, we're only 139 trucks short, so they're gonna come right out of that real quick. And we're going to, due to the size of the motorized infantry divisions, we're going to actually put supply companies and maintenance companies inside the tank divisions and also the infantry divisions. This will also help us with pushing through terrain that needs to be crossed and that kind of thing. So that's the plan. We're going to minimize the supply usage as much as we can, and then we're also going to put the maintenance companies in those divisions as well. And of course we have the British and French alliance at this point, and I also have the the ports coming as well. You can see them starting to pop up because we're going through the construction factories, which technically we're building about 3, which is where I wanted to be, but I would like to have 3 15 stacked things every time. So we're not exactly where we need to be exactly, but we're getting there. And we have all of the requirements for our motorized infantry, which is fantastic. They have what they need. So we're just waiting on the training process at this point. 37, that's right. I was going to get the construction speed here. And also I'm going to get the rubber technology after the next one comes off. That's ridiculous, guys. We have 1,600 pieces of artillery. That's insane. And we got more construction factories. Fantastic. So now we got 4 working on the 3rd one. Like I said, I want to try and get that up to 15. But at this particular point, I'm going to start working on some Army national focuses. And now we're to the point where we're starting to work on the refineries because most of the factories are built. We only have 2 more to go. Historical. Let's recognize the Vermont. Alright, let's get the rubber going, get ourselves out of this deficit by ourselves. And I'm probably gonna do all the technologies referring to gas, rubber, and storage for that. So we're gonna be doing one of those technologies by the time these concentrated industry is done here. Okay, we got concentrated industry 2. That should help us quite a bit in terms of production capability. That's very exciting actually. And I'm gonna go with the oil processing for the moment, and then what I'll do is I'll go with the storage after that in about 20 days. I'm also gonna consider upgrading the artillery as well, because we're gonna have to keep that up to date, etc, etc. Now we will eventually put self-propelled artillery in the divisions, more particularly the motorized divisions, mechanized divisions, however you want to say it, but technically they're all the same thing. The only difference is the mechanized uses a half track, but again they're still operating off of a motored piece of equipment, so essentially it doesn't change much. But that's the plan. Self-propelled artillery for the motorized divisions of each sort. I want to get these supply companies done, and then what I'll do is I'll implement them both into the Panzer division and the motorized infantry all at the one time, so we don't have to worry about it. Nice. Yeah, let's get that. That's gonna help quite a bit. Okay, Japan's declared war in China. Awesome. Okay, we got the supply companies, so now we're going to implement all that into our divisions here. And I also need to probably start doing the 1938 tech here. We could get the anti-tank gun as well, the PAC-36, but at the same time I need to worry about other stuff too. Mass assault, that's what we're gonna go with today. And so let me see how that impacts our division templates. Right, okay. Doesn't change much, but we do need to edit the motorized divisions to have the two companies that are required that I wanted to put into each one. Actually, we gotta save XP again, because that took most of our military XP to switch the Doctrine around to production. What are we doing? Yeah, that helped with truck production a lot. I really did. We're doing 6 artillery per day. That's crazy for this early in the game. Okay, so now we got 4 more truck infantry. Well, actually, I just highlighted the Panzer divisions, which I did not want to do, but that is perfectly okay. Okay, so we can't do any of the national focuses to do with the territory yet. So I'm gonna go with Fearship and see what we can't do with that. We're gonna put these 4 truck divisions underneath this man here. That gives him 6, okay? And at this point, we're just gonna save our military XP for right now, so we can implement those companies in the divisions to make the supplies and the maintenance companies and all that. Now we're working on the synthetic factories, which is good. That's what we need to do to get out of this deficit here. I think we're gonna let the attack divisions rest for a bit, and like I said before that I canceled, I'm gonna get some military police just to get some soldiers in the field here, and they're gonna have their own separate commander as well. Eventually I'm gonna put every single type of soldier or unit type under a field marshal, but that is not gonna be until later, before we get multiple armies in the field here. Okay, we got about 21 army XP, which I think that should be enough to put both companies into our divisions that they're needed to be in. Support company and a maintenance company, and that's the tank division taken care of. Now we just gotta take care of the mobile infantry in that regard. Fearship, got that. Now I'm going to make sure the SS gets put in place here. Only got about 10 minutes left on the video here, guys, so I'm not going to be playing for too much longer, but I think it was a good start. I think we're going to have quite some good momentum as soon as we get everything we need in place here. And so we have a positive income of rubber. That is awesome. So what I'm going to do now is go back to the trade deals, and I'm going to say, Dutch Indies, I don't want your rubber no more. Give me that one factory back, please. And then we're gonna prioritize the Waffen SS. Those are elite troops. They're really fantastic. I really like them. And then I want to go with the Panzer Doctrine, since we are gonna have a lot of things. Last time I played off screen, I went with the Prussian Legacy, but I want to go with the historical option in this case, because we're gonna have a lot of tanks. Alright, but honestly, we are short on rubber by quite a bit, but we're going to dig ourselves out of it. So I'm not entirely concerned about it, especially since we are making about almost 9 trucks per day. So I'm not entirely concerned about that, because eventually we're going to dig ourselves out of it anyway, and we're not too far from actually doing that, to be perfectly honest. So I'm not entirely entirely concerned about the shortage of rubber, because it's only a matter of time, because we're working on our own factories at this point for it. And the construction level 2 and the rubber refinery technology will be done at the same time. So once that rubber refinery technology gets done, we'll be cooking with gas here, because it might even push us out of that deficit. So like I said, I'm not majorly concerned about that. Not entirely, because it's all gonna fix itself anyway. It's almost 1938 at this point, so we gotta consider getting those technologies as well. Alright guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. We're 2 hours and 13 minutes right now, so I'll see you in a bit. God bless you guys.